Have you ever wondered how those swishing sounds come to life in your favorite movies or video games? I will show you 5 items that you can use to make those sounds at home for your own projects. My name is Bastian Gerner. I'm a senior Foley artist, also known as the Foley teacher, and my passion is to just share this secret knowledge and the secret world of Foley with you, so that you can implement it in your daily work as a sound designer. And if you have a general interest in movies and how they are made, this is also for you. So let's dive into the video. As I said, I have 5 objects that I'm gonna show you. And after I've showed you all those 5 objects and we tackled this scene, I will also show you a very special item I'm gonna reveal at the end of the video. This scene is just a little animation about a cowboy swinging a lasso. I think it's a good example for us to practice the swishing sounds. So let me show you the scene first. I will play it back with the original sound. I'm gonna show you those 5 objects and we try to make the sound of the lasso with those 5 objects. First, I have this whip from my daughter, which is really nice because it's long and very flexible, so you can have a nice swish or also a continuous swoosh. So you always have to be careful with the microphone so that you don't get the wind into the membrane. Then you will have sounds like that. So therefore find a spot where you can have the full motion but not blow too much wind onto the microphone. Okay, let's do it with that scene, and I'm gonna take a different approach. I will now make it more a continuous movement, and then later on you could still say, no, I want just fractions of that within the editing. But I think we can use a little bit of more continuous ongoing lasso sounds in this scene. You could see or hear that I reduced the loudness when the lasso was a bit far away or not even on screen. I reduced it, and then I also tried to match the movement of the guy, making it beneath his feet, this little trick. And then of course when he throws it and it lands, I also wanted to make a sound. I think that was not perfect, so let's try it again. I had some handling noise, and I think with this type of whip the handling noise is very reduced already. And then I also had some wind sounds on the microphone. So let's focus again. I think my biggest problem is now that I have to make a proper swing. Maybe like that. So handling the prop before your record is also essential, and to find something that can work also throughout the whole take is something you have to consider before you record. So that's the first object. I think it was pretty good, especially in the last take. I had a nice sound that was matching the whole thing, and I could control all the motions throughout the take, except for the end, let's say. The second item that I have is just another arrow from a bow and arrow. This also represents any type of stick or metal stick, wood stick, anything of that kind of size or shape. The thinner, the longer it is, the more fine it will be. And let's see what this thing makes as a sound. I also have to take care that my finger is not really, maybe like that. So here I have those wings, and they move a little bit more air, so the sound is different. Okay, let's do it again with that scene. So yeah, maybe it is a bit more comic-y with that one, because I always have to stop. It's not a continuous motion, but it makes nice swishes or swoosh sounds. Especially with those little fins here, you can have more air movement than with just the small stick. So yeah, I liked the beginning very much, but then I heard my hand moving too much, so that disturbed me. So I have to do that again. I want to show you two more items that are a bit different than that. I like this very much. This is just something that you can insulate a door. So this makes a nice sound when you swing it. This is not the right thing for our lasso, but it has a nice texture. Can be more something for sci-fi or something. This one is just a toy from my daughter. And here the good thing is that in itself it doesn't make a real sound, and therefore it's also quiet when you swing it. Only thing is that the more energy you give, the longer it gets, and therefore you have to have more space within your room before you hit something. So let's do the scene with that one again. Although it is very controllable when you do a continuous movement, it is very difficult to control when you then make changes with that. So therefore I had a couple of sounds that were not intended during the performance. But initially the swinging was really nice and very lush, I think. So let's try that again. Oh, I hit something. But in the end I controlled the beginning better. So yeah, you have to choose your tools. Now you ask yourself, what is the fifth tool? Because I showed you four. The fifth tool, I would say, is your mouth. So with your mouth you can also do a lot of nice swish and swoosh sounds. Maybe more in front of the microphone, like so we can try that with that scene as well. All right, so I had to breathe once. Let's do it again. So these are the 5 items that I recommend you. And as I said, there's one last thing that I wanted to introduce you as a prop, because it is really special. This is just another toy that I have for my daughter. She brought that from Turkey for me because she saw that the sound that it makes is very cool. This one we can also use in that scene, and after that we can then analyze our different recordings. So I think the sound matches already. We don't have to do it again. So let's analyze what we recorded. So I already edited the best takes in terms of getting rid of all the bumps that I created. I mean, it were just a couple of like 2-3 bumps. They are gone. The sounds are clean and we can listen to them now, starting with the whip. Yeah, I think that's very nice. Motions are there, everything, and it's also very clear. You can hear that, and it has that animation comic-y kind of sound. So that was already a good one. Now we're listening to the arrow. All right, that was much more reduced. Still works for me. Maybe not as spectacular as the first one, but if you want to have that reduced approach, this would also be feasible. Next up is the rubber band. The rubber toy also works. It has a nice continuous sound. Maybe in that context it's the weakest for me because it's very low in tone and therefore it will have a hard time to stick through the mix. And then also the motions that the cowboy does, like the under the leg and also the throwing, are not really there. But before we decide on what to use, we listen to the breathing example as well. So this also would work on its own and has a completely different style than all the other ones. Therefore, combining this will be tricky, but definitely we can use the end when he's throwing the rope, the lasso, because that we couldn't really cover with all the other items. So let's decide which one do we use. I argue we go with the first take with the whip, and then we add the mouth sound in the end, and that should be fine for now. And then we play it back also with the little other tool, the special tool that I showed you in the end. That's how you can create realistic swish sounds with just some simple household items. I hope this inspires you for your upcoming projects. And if you really want to learn Foley techniques for your sound design and daily work, then ask your questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. You can DM me on Instagram or go to my website and book a free call with me. We can find out if you potentially match for my one-on-one coaching, and there's also a school community you can join. Thank you very much for joining this video and watching it until the end. It means the world. See you in the next one. Peace, the Foley teacher.